because you had reflected about your father when he passed away when you were 16, and you said he was your best friend. Do you think your life would have been different had he lived beyond, you being 16, having some sort of influence on your life?
Correct. September the 27th, 1973, my father passed away. 3 days later, we had his funeral. After the funeral, we went back to my house to sit Shiva. And my cousin said, let's take a walk. You look terrible. Take a walk. He takes out a pack of Marlboro Reds. Remember those box of Marlboro? I actually saw one last night. A hard box of Marlboro Reds. He takes out a joint. We smoke a joint. I took a deep breath, took a toke, and exhaled, and my life changed in that moment because I couldn't handle the emotions that I was feeling. My father, my best friend, my North Star passed away, and my whole life was changed. My mother ended up going into bed the day of the funeral and didn't get out of bed for a year. Myself, never saw my report card, never saw me graduate from high, none of these things. It was like my whole house was shut down. It was my brother closed his door, stayed in his room, and I just went hog wild crazy.
So they both, your mother and brother, kind of just shut down, and you took the opposite and kind of just fell into drugs and
correct
down.
And then they became very close, and I became the odd man out, and I ended up going to college 2 years later. But my mother was really a zombie for a year, barely got out of bed or anything like that. And I just started taking her drugs and more drugs and smoking weed every day and all these different things. That's my journey. If my father had stayed alive, my life would be entirely different. I can't imagine what would have happened.
But in what way? In a good
Larry,
way?
In a great way.
Okay.
I was a great kid. I was on the wrestling team. I was in the football team, but I was a great student. I loved to read. I was, good kid. I became a bad kid. Like if I was raising a family and I lived on my block, I would tell my kid to stay away from us, Mandell. I was a wild, angry kid, not a good kid, reckless. I mean, driving under the influence of drugs, alcohol. It's amazing I didn't kill somebody. I mean, terrible things I did. I was just out of my mind. I just didn't care if I lived or died, for real. A lot of guys use words, right? When I tell you, I'm authentic. I'm telling you real. I didn't care if I lived or died. In one blink of an eye, one day, my life went from being a certain way, planned out. I was going to go to an Ivy League school. I was going to be a doctor. I was studying pre-med. I was brilliant with math and science and all that. I would read everything I get my hands on. And I was good with words, and I wasn't a shy kid. I wasn't a wild man that way, but I was good with words. I was a good talker, a good communicator. I did great on exams. I was number 6 out of 624 rated in my whole school. The government, after I was convicted, before they send you to prison, they make you sit with a probation